Congratulations, you have clicked on the right video. Here you will learn divisibility rules from 1 till 11. Let's begin with examples of each numbers and let's learn the divisibility rules very clearly. Let's begin. Starting with the very simple number that is 1. 1 divides every other number. For example, if I take 10, 10 is divisible by 1. 10 divided by 1 is equal to 10. And if I take 200, 1 divides 200 also. 1 multiplied by 200 is 200. And if, for example, I take 373 divided by 1, it also gives you 373. So, in simple words, 1 divides every other number. What about the number 2? What about the number 2? Okay, for example, if we have a number that ends with 0, for example, it is 10, this number is divisible by 2. And if I have a number that ends with 2, this number is also divisible by 2. If I take another number that ends with 4, this is also divisible by 2. If I take another number that is 6, this is also divisible by 2. And if I take 18 or a number that ends with 8, this is also divisible by 2. Okay, now look at the sequence of the numbers. 0, 2, 4, 6, 8. These are all even numbers. So that means if a number is even, it's of course divisible by 2. That's how you will come to know that the number, whether it's so big or it's very small, you can decide whether it's divisible by 2 or not. For example, if I take a greater number that is 2, 4, 9, 7, 8, 2, you can of course say that this number is divisible by 2 because it ends with 2 or it ends with an even number. Our next number is 3, and the divisibility rule for 3 is quite interesting. For example, if I have a number that is like 15, how will I know whether it is divisible by 3 or not? What I will do is I will add these numbers. 5 plus 1 is 6, and I know that 6 is divisible by 3. Or if I have a 3-digit number 3, 6, 3, what I will do is I will add all the digits 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and you will come to know 12 is divisible by 3. So that's how you check whether a number is divisible by 3 or not. Let's take a more complicated, or we can say a different example, that is 108. What about this? Many of you will think that this is not divisible by 3, but we will not directly say that it is not divisible by 3, but we will check it using our divisibility rule. That is, we will add 1, 0 and 8 together and it will give us 9, and we already know that 9 is divisible by 3. So that's how you check for the divisibility of 3, that if the digits in the number is something that is divisible by 3, then that number is divisible by 3. Keep in mind. So our next number is 4. How am I gonna know whether a number is divisible by 4 or not? One thing is compulsory. You need to know the table from 1 till 10. 4 multiplied by 1 is 1 till 4 multiplied by 10 is 40. because this is a very basic thing we all must know. So for example, I have a greater number that is 4 to 4. For the divisibility rule of 4, if the last two digits, in this case it is 24, if the last two digits is divisible by or are divisible by 4, that means the number is divisible by 4. For 6 is 24, that means 424 is also divisible by 4. That is, for 1 is 4 and for 6 is 24. For example, I have a different number there, that is 4, 0, 2 and 8. What about this one? Look at the last two digits, 28. 4 multiplied by 7 is 28, right? So that means this number is also divisible by 4. What about this number, 4026? Now look at this, 26. Is 26 divisible by 4? No, because 4 multiplied by 6 is 24 and 4 multiplied by 7 is 28. So in this way you will check whether a number is divisible by 4 or not. Or even you can take a greater number, that is 1028944. Now this looks quite a large number, but look at the last two digits, 44. You already know 44 is divisible by 4. So yeah, in that way you will check whether a big number or smaller number is divisible by 4 or not. Wait, I'm not gonna go into the details of this number, which is 5, because everyone loves 5. Because when a number ends with 5, or if a number ends with 0, that number is divisible by 5. So I guess I don't need to go into the details. Do you agree? Yeah. So what I think is the divisibility rule for 6 is also quite interesting, because if the number is divisible by 2 and 3 both, so that means the number is also divisible by 6. Let's quickly take an example, that is 6 4 2 8. Let's check this. This number is divisible by 2. We know it. Why? Because the last digit is 8 and it is even. Now let's check this number for 3. What we have to do, we have to add all the numbers, and by adding these numbers it gives you 20. It gives you 20. Now you know that 20 is not divisible by 3, right? So that means 6428 is not divisible by 6. Got it? Got it, right? Let's take another example. 6 2 1 4. Now we already know this number is divisible by 2, right? Let's check it for 3. What we will do is we will add all the digits, and it gives you 13, and 13 is not divisible by 3. So that means this number is also not divisible by 6. Let's take another example. 6 1 3 4. Now this number obviously is divisible by 2. For 3 again we have to check it. 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14. It's giving you 14, and 14 is again not divisible by 3. So this number is also not divisible by 6. some other number that's both divisible by 6 and it's also divisible by 3 and 2. For example, a number is there which is 126. Now this is divisible by 2 because the number ends with 6. Let's check it for 3, 6, 7, 8, 9. The sum of the digits gives you 9, and 9 is divisible by 3. So yes, 126 is the number that is divisible by both 2 and 3. So it means this number is divisible by 6. This is how you're gonna check when a number is divisible by 2 and 3 both. That means the number is also divisible by 6, just like 126. Let me tell you, the divisibility rule for 7 is a little different. For example, let's take a number 3, 4, 3. How will we check whether this number is divisible by 7 or not? What we have to do is we have to take the last digit, that is 3, and we have to multiply it with 2. It will give you 6. Now what to do with 6? You will subtract this 6 from the first two digits, that is 3, 4. 34 minus 6 will give you 28, and you already know 28 is divisible by 7. So yes, this is how you check the divisibility rule for 7. Let's take another example, a bigger number 6, 7, 5, 5 for example. Again we will apply the same rule, that is we will multiply the last digit with 2, that is 5 multiplied by 2, it gives you 10. Next you will subtract this 10 from the remaining first three digits, 6, 7, 5 minus 10. So this will give you 6, 6, 5. Now let's check for 6, 6, 5 whether it's divisible by 7. 7, 9 is 63, and you get 35 here. 7, 5 is 35. Yes, so got it? This is how you check for the divisibility rule of 7. Tantana. And what about 8? It's also a little different but easier than 7. See, we have to take a greater number, that is 4-digit number, 5, 5, 3, 6 for example. Now what we need to check is whether the last three digits are divisible by 8 or not. We'll do a check using this division. 5, 3, 6, and 8 multiplied by 6 is 48, and this gives you 5, and taking this downwards, 8 multiplied by 7 is 56. So yeah, this number is divisible by 8. This is how you check for the divisibility rule of 8. Let's take another example, 7, 4, 3, 2. Again, you will check whether this last three digit is divisible by 8 or not. 4, 3, 2. 8 multiplied by 5 is 40. Here you get 3, and then 2. 8 multiplied by 4 is 32. So yeah, you can say this number is also divisible by 8. So you can check similar examples or different examples and comment down below to let me know that you are getting my point. And what about 8? It's also a little different but easier than 7. See, we have to take a greater number, that is 4-digit number, 5, 5, 3, 6 for example. Now what we need to check is whether the last three digits are divisible by 8 or not. We'll do a check using this division. 5, 3, 6, and 8 multiplied by 6 is 48, and this gives you 5, and taking this downwards, 8 multiplied by 7 is 56. So yeah, this number is divisible by 8. This is how you check for the divisibility rule of 8. Let's take another example. 7, 4, 3, 2. Again, you will check whether this last 3 digit is divisible by 8 or not. 4, 3, 2. 8 multiplied by 5 is 40. Here you get 3, and then 2. 8 multiplied by 4 is 32. So yeah, you can say this number is also divisible by 8. So you can check similar examples or different examples and comment down below to let me know that you are getting my point. Stay tuned as we are almost towards the end. Here we have a very interesting number, that is 9. And the divisibility rule for 9 is quite easy. For example, I have a number 921. Now to check whether this number is divisible by 9 or not, I have to sum these digits. 9 plus 2 is 11, 11 plus 1 is 12. And you see 12 is not divisible by 9. So you can say this number is not divisible by 9. Let's take another number, 9, 8, 3. Again, you will sum up all these numbers and it gives you 20. And 20 is again not divisible by 9. So you can say, yeah, this number is also not divisible by 9. Let's take another example, 1, 0, 8, and 9. And now this number gives you 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. See, 18 is divisible by 9. Now, in such scenarios, you will always check, or you can apply the divisibility rule to tell whether a number is divisible by 9 or any other number or not. So keep these in handy. Last but not the least, we have 11. Let's check the divisibility rule for 11. For example, we have 121. For the case of 11, what you do is you take the alternate sum of all the digits. For example, I have 1 from the right side. 1, then with 2 you will take a minus sign. With 1 you will take a plus sign. Now, what does this give you? This gives you 0, and 0 is divisible by 11. So that means, yeah, this number is divisible by 11. Let's take another example, that is 1, 4, 4, 1. For example, again I will take the alternate sum, that is 1 minus 4 plus 4 minus 1. Now what this gives you, 1 minus 1 is 0, 4 minus 4 is 0, and 0 is divisible by 11. So yes, this number is also divisible by 11. Let's take another example, 1, 6, 9. Now what I will do is, again I will take the alternate sum, that is 9 minus 6 plus 1, and this is gonna give me 3 plus 1, which is equal to 4, and 4 is not divisible by 11. So gotcha? This is how you check for the divisibility rule of 11. If you want to know more of such techniques, more of such tricks, more of such rules, you can always ask in the comment box, and you can subscribe to my channel. You can get any sort of content here. Thanks for watching.